47, and of course today is the 23rd day in the month of August 2021. I welcome you for our news this morning. First, the headlines. Blood clot killed Major General Paul Lokech, police confirms. Also, government seeks selection dates for Senior 1, Senior 5 and varsity students. Afghanistan MP to press Biden to delay Kabul withdrawal. Once again, a good morning and welcome for our news in English this morning. We are live on 90.3 LBS. And now the news in detail with me, Priscilla Awidioula. Selection exercise for Senior 1, Senior 5 and first-year students of tertiary institutions will be conducted between September and October. Now, Education and Sports Minister Janet Museveni said the ministry will provide specific dates for the exercise for the three levels of education. She was speaking during the release of the 2020 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education exam results at State House Nakasero in Kampala on Friday. The minister had earlier last month, during the release of the primary leaving examination and the Uganda Certificate of Education exam results, said the government would set dates for the selection of Senior 1, Senior 5 students after the lockdown had been lifted. The 42-day lockdown that was instituted by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on the 18th of June was lifted by himself on the 30th of July. Now, parents and schools whose candidates sat for the PLE and UCE exams had now waited for 20 days since the lifting of the lockdown without any news on the dates of selection exercise. Now, some traditional schools had resorted to receiving applications for both Senior 1 and Senior 5 students online, only to be discouraged by the Education Ministry on the grounds that it would lock out some students without access to the internet. Now, heads of schools will be required to converge at the Uganda Manufacturers Association showground to select students. The exercise usually takes 2 days. Meanwhile, she said those who will be selected will not immediately report to schools. The date of reopening will be communicated to the public as part of a revised schools calendar once the reopening date has been agreed upon by the cabinet. Moving on, the sudden death of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Lokech, 55 years of age, was due to blood clot, the Uganda Police Force has confirmed. Now, Major General Lokech's untimely dismiss, which has since left the nation in shock and set many tongues wedging, occurred Saturday morning at his home in Kira Municipality in Wakiso District. According to a statement by the force's spokesperson, Mr. Fred Enang, a team of 4 pathologists carried out an autopsy on the deceased general's body in the presence of 4 witnesses, that is Brigadier General Dr. Stephen Kusasira, the Director Medical Services in the UPDF, the deceased person Dr. Ben Chinji, and 2 family representatives. Now, the team of pathologists established that the victim got a fracture on the right ankle joint around the end of July 2021. It was a simple fracture which was being managed at Ruby Medical Center by an orthopedic surgeon. Now, during the autopsy, the pathologists opened the right lower leg, which got injured, and found a very big blood clot that had been formed in one of the big blood vessels. They further opened his chest and found part of the blood clot had been carried into the lungs. As a result, both vessels in the lungs were blocked, thus leading to shortage in breath and subsequent death. Now, the force has also announced that the deceased will be buried on Friday, the 27th of August 2021 at Beiba Village, Ludele Parish, Padari Town Council in Padari District. Having served in both the army and police, Major General Lokech's burial will be with full honors from the police, While the gun salute will be presented by the UPDF, the pale bearers are the UPDF officers at the rank of Major General, while the sword bearers are police officers at the rank of Commissioner. You're still listening to our news in English this morning, broadcasting live on 90.3 LBS, and it is sponsored by the Grace Nazarene Primary School. Now, the UK Prime Minister is expected to ask US President Joe Biden to keep American forces in the Afghanistan beyond the 31st of August in order to allow evacuation flights to continue. Boris Johnson will make the request at an emergency meeting of world leaders from the G7 countries on Tuesday. Now, many thousands of people are crowded outside Kabul airports desperate to leave after Taliban swept the power. The U.S. intends to pull all troops out of by the end of this month. And now, lastly, in our sports news, former national and SA Villa player Dan Obore has said he is happy to be part of the new FIFA executive, which will serve from 2021 to 2025. Obote was named among the 15 members of the executive committee when Moses Hassim Magoga was re-elected FIFA president during the General Assembly held at Wash and Wheels Hotel in Mbale on Saturday. Now, he made it clear that it is good for a former footballer to be in the executive and bring contribution to the development of football in his country. He also made it clear that Ugandans should have trust in the FIFA leadership with Honorable Magoga as president. Magoga has proved over the years that he is a good leader who has changed several things for the better of the Ugandan football, and some of us are coming in as a supplement and also play a role, especially since we come from a player's background, added Obote. Now, in his playing days, he featured for the URA Football Club, SC Villa, and Boroboro Football Club in Uganda before he moved to the paid ranks, where he played for Rayon Sports in Rwanda and South African sides Vasco da Gama Football Club, Cape Town, and Nikapa Sporting. Now, the 37-year-old Obote, who holds a FIFA Beginners Coaching Certificate, Level D, and CAF Coaching License Certificate, is the youngest member on the FIFA executive. As we've come to the end of our news this morning, let's take a quick look at the top stories one more time. Blood clots killed a Major General Paul Lokech, police confirms. Also, government set selection dates for Senior 1, Senior 5 and varsity students. Then Afghanistan Prime Minister to press Biden to delay Kabul withdrawal. Now, all this brings me to the end of our news this morning. But remember, you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram at 90.3 Lango Broadcasting Service. You can as well subscribe to our YouTube channel at 90.3 Lango Broadcasting Service.